everyone, and welcome back to the Whale Nerds Podcast. This is episode number 103. My name is Slater, and I'm here with Adam and Caitlin.
What's up?
Hello. We're all in sweatshirts, even me in Hawaii.
It's the first morning podcast. The way I like it.
It's cold and I'm sleepy.
It's actually kind of chilly this morning here.
It's raining here.
Yeah, it's raining here. Oh, it was raining. It looks sunny now. It's also blowing like 35 knots out there. So
Fun.
yeah, good times.
I mean, whatever, we got in 35 knots all the time in Matalaya.
Ugh, gross.
It's not usually a big sea though.
Yeah, I was about to say, I feel like it's different there.
It is. So
Like 30 knots in Newport, just flat.
Yeah, it's fine. It's
yeah.
fine.
Hug the coast so you get
Depends on
behind the
which way
mountain
it's
and you're
coming.
good.
Santa Ana's flatten out the water, and then,
Well, it's funny because Santa Ana suck here. It's because like as we're leaving the harbor, it's like right in our beam. So it's just banging into it pretty much
you
the
guys
entire
gotta
way.
turn like northwest when you leave the harbor, huh?
Yeah. But the southeast Santa Ana suck.
Anything with the word easterly in it sucks in Monterey. Monterey. Actually, pretty much any direction it can come from Monterey can suck,
Yeah.
if you think about it.
Well, it just can crank up so hard, and then that deep canyon just holds a big sea for extra days, I feel like, compared to everywhere else.
It's amazing though how like fast it calms down here. Like it could be 35 knots today at 12-foot swells, and then tomorrow it'll be 6 foot with no wind. It's like, what?
Well, you know what's even crazier? On the East Coast, it would be like that, like big storm come through, 40 plus knots of wind, 12-foot seas. And the next day it's 3-foot seas. And you're like, was there even a storm yesterday?
Yeah.
Like, you can't even tell. It's nuts.
Glassy.
It's so, I think because it's so shallow and like the bottom terrain is so uneven. I don't know, something about it, it just like lays right down. It's nuts.
Difference a day can make.
I know. I just my growing up on boats career was in Monterey. It's like the roughest sea conditions I've ever taken paying customers out in. And like, so I go to all these other places and I'm like, this is nice. What the?
Yeah, it's just not that bad.
Today it's 7 and right now it's 7. Well, the wind waves are 7.9 feet at 11 seconds, and then every like hour it goes up by 0.3.
Oh, that does not sound like a good time.
And then I think the peak is at 3 p.m. and it'll be 10.7
Nothing.
See.
at 11 seconds. So pretty much squared. And then
Ugh, double
with
digits and
20
squared.
24 mile an hour winds, and then with gusts of 37 and 40.
Is it northwest?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The
Spring upwelling is starting.
Oh yeah, dude.
Yeah, for sure.
It's about to be science and stuff real soon here.
The worst it gets here is 27 knots of wind gusting to 40, 7.5 foot swells. That's 6 seconds apart. That's not
That's
fun.
also ugly.
Super ugly.
What if we just talk about wind? Let's just talk about
Just
wind.
talk about-
This is
this is
a
a wind
wind
podcast.
podcast.
Well,
Well,
it
the
was-
wind is light and variable here in Maui for the next like 10 days. It's awesome.
Nice.
So.
It was funny. Like on the last podcast, I talked about that big group of humpbacks that came in and they were there for like a day and then they immediately like dispersed throughout the channel. And I was like, dang, dude, I was talking to Dave and I'm like, we need some wind. Like we need some like hardcore wind to like turn up the waters and bring these guys back in. He's like, we don't need any wind. I don't want any wind on this boat. We don't need any wind. I'm like, yes, we need some wind.
I know. Part of me is like, I like the wind. It's good
Yeah.
for the ocean. But part of me is like, I hate it. Like, I
Yeah.
wish we could get rid of it forever.
Thing is,
But-
it's
Yeah.
bad for business, but it's
I
good
know.
for the whales. So.
Exactly.
But you need it. You need it. I mean, whales are business, so you kind of
Yeah.
need it, you know?
That's exactly what I used to tell people on the phone when I worked in the office at the whale watch company. The
That's
wind's
a
bad
good
for
thing to
us,
say.
but good for the ocean. So,
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, I have
Well-
a couple updates. I just want to get going here.
pardon me.
First off, Caitlin
Yeah.
wrote a blog on the whalenerds.com. I'm gonna start stealing all of the topics that you write down.
That never gets old, does it?
I guess people are like probably just think I'm actually updating them, and then really I'm just stealing your thunder.
Weird. Shocker.
Weird how that works.
Woman on a collaborative project gets
Oh,
her
we're making
ideas
it
stolen.
this. Turn it into this now, are we?
Great. And it's Women's Month.
Yeah, exactly. You're doing this
Yeah,
to me on
dude. So
Women's
back
History
off,
Month.
Slater.
Anyways, yeah, I have written a couple blogs on the website. I don't have a new one up yet, but just stay tuned. That's a good place to keep an eye on. That's something that changes on our website fairly frequently. We still have only 4 seats left for Saturday, the 23rd of April. As far as I know, I haven't seen any new bookings the last few days for that
Yeah, me
date.
either.
So I'm thinking we still have 4 seats left, but I would book them now because we're getting close to the date, and I would hate for you to miss out on that day because we sold out. So we also have a little bit of merch available on our website, thewhalenerds.com, and you can also see the video versions of all of our episodes on YouTube from episode 100 onward. So you can see us drinking our coffee this morning. Slater has a really cool killer whale mug.
I need some coffee. I woke
Oh,
up so
and your
late.
sweatshirt. You're all decked out.
It's the sequence before on my. It's I mean like the frame before on my shirt.
And then Whale Tales Conference registration is still open. I actually just registered myself. The dates are March 26th and 27th for the live stream event, but you will be able to access the recordings later. It's going to have on-demand presentations by over 20 researchers, photographers, and artists. They will have a live Q&A session and interactive education expo, and they do have a keiki program. And again, we did a cool video for the keiki program. And you can register at whaletales.org. So if you want to check them out, it's hosted by Whale Trust Maui, and the conference registration is on their website. So pretty exciting. So with that, I think that's all the updates we have for now. So we can talk about sightings.
I had a pretty epic sighting yesterday.
What'd you see?
I
couch.
saw 2 barn owls, 1 barn owl and 2 great horned owls. Oh, and a red-tailed hawk eating a squirrel.
Where?
It was flying with the squirrel.
Nice.
I went to like a secret road I can't really tell you guys about.
Oh,
with
secret.
my friend Chase Decker.
Yeah,
so-
with his friend Chase Decker, who's replacing me. Who's replacing me very quickly.
They hit it off in Monterey, and now look at them.
I'm quickly coming from number 2 best friend to like number 7.
Chase is like, well, when Adam just doesn't show up for the podcast, I'll just take his spot. So he's like, well, Adam told me I'm a geek though, and not a whale nerd. He said I'm a whale geek or something like that.
He is like a whale geek. He's just like, I love Chase. Chase is awesome. He just like has everything going on in his head at once. It's kind of funny.
I haven't seen a whale at all, so my sightings are pretty lame.
You didn't look for
Why don't
gray
you
whales from shore?
Yeah, I do it all the time. That sounds so.
Hey,
funny.
Slater.
I'm going to Mexico next week, and then I'll have some sightings.
That's true.
Slater,
What?
you do know you have a boat, right?
Yeah, did you hear the weather report?
Yeah, I'm gonna go out there right now and get some epic stuff. Upside down underwater. I'm just gonna bring my underwater housing, and when my boat tips over, I'll.
There you go.
So when the boat sinks while he's waiting for the Coast Guard, he can get some sick underwater
I feel like I
shots.
kind of had a nightmare about that last night.
Oh, no.
Never mind. Don't
Wasn't
go
it-
out.
I don't think it was even my boat. It was just like for some reason I had to like. Oh, you know what I was thinking? I was inventing some new boots because I was like, dude, if you fall in with boots on,
You're
like,
done.
it's just like and 2 jackets on. Like that's the problem in Monterey. It's like, yeah,
Just wear a survival suit instead.
yeah. You just gotta wear a life jacket. But
So everybody does in the Pacific Northwest. I'm like, bruh, it's like 75 and sunny. Why are you all in a survivor suit?
Because the water's cold.
yeah,
Yeah,
except for
but
when it's
whatever.
Not, yeah, but all those all those like open boats, like the ribs. Oh my god, I went on one of those up there and it's cold.
Oh,
Mhm.
really?
But then you're sweating when you're wearing that survival suit because you're
Exactly.
still wearing your pants and jacket inside of it. So it's like,
Yeah.
yeah. So it's like, I don't know.
It's just uncomfortable any way you do
It's
it.
weird. Like,
Pretty
yeah,
much.
once you take it off, it's like you're wearing wet clothes. So it's
Yeah.
like, yeah, so it's kind of funky. But
Yeah,
I
that
mean,
happened to me in Canada too. I went whale watching on a Zodiac in Nova Scotia, and the water is very cold, and so they have us wear survival suits. But I told the lady I whale watched in Monterey, so think she thought like it was like Southern California type weather. And so she's like, honey, wear your jeans and your sweatshirt. And here's another hat. Like she thought I was going to be really cold. I was sweating so much in the survival suit. So the next day that we went, I think I just wore like leggings and a tank top underneath the survival suit because I was so hot.
That's awesome.
But she's like, you're watching California. You need a lot of clothes. You're going to be cold.
Yeah, 45.3 degrees in the water. I think that's
yeah.
pretty
You don't want to
cold.
fall in that.
Dude, I used to bathe in those waters because I didn't have a freaking
No, Adam, you
bathroom.
fell off a kayak.
Okay,
no, he
that's true.
showered. He like
But
took
I
a bath
showered-
in the water
yeah.
too.
Yeah, because I didn't have a shower at my place.
Rugged.
Super rugged.
Okay, well, anyways, you saw whales, Adam.
I did. I have been seeing whales every day. I'm trying to think what I talked about last. I guess I'd probably talked about those humpbacks
Yeah.
and the humpbacks.
And your sword fighting gray whales.
Oh yeah, that was cool. Since then, it's really just been we've had humpbacks in the outskirts, like, and we honestly haven't really gotten out to like numbers where we typically have them every year. But they just move so coastal. We were just like, oh, they're going to be everywhere. But the ocean had a different plan. So we've kind of just been sticking coastal looking for gray whales, and they've been really good. I think we had 7 yesterday. We were talking about it. Me and Callie, who's one of my coworkers, she was like, I don't think we've seen like a breaching pickle this year. And I was like, you know what, we haven't. And then literally like 30 minutes later, this gray whale just started breaching. It was super funny. Yeah, just gray whales, and we actually did have a really good pot of dolphins. It was probably like 2,000 dolphins, and I saw them in the binos, and it was just a massive bait ball of anchovies that they're on. And it's so cool when you can see the dolphins, like they do this thing where like 4 of them will line up and then they'll charge and go all in the bait ball at once, and they come up underneath it, and then you just see all these fish go flying. So that was really cool. I was surprised there was no whale in there, but it was really cool to watch the dolphins hunt by themselves. There's some California sea lions and stuff.
There must be a lot of fish somewhere else too, because
Exactly. Yeah.
you had that many humpbacks around not that long ago. They must be on something.
They ate it all
Yeah.
left, dude. It's what they do.
Yeah,
I
exactly.
think it really has to do with how dense these bait balls are. Because from the surface, it's like, it looks like there's a lot, but I think that down below there might not be as much, and that's why the whales move on.
Well,
Because I've seen them pass hundreds of bait balls, and you're like, what, dude? You could have just eaten that.
Hello.
Like, you literally headbutted the anchovy and kept going. Like, why didn't you eat it?
Yeah. Well, it's also like, 25 whales can demolish a lot of anchovies pretty quick,
Mhm.
So that's what it is. Gray whales have been awesome, super coastal. We've been seeing a lot of them. Still waiting for the moms and calves to show up, but it's been a lot of adult groups and juveniles as well. So
Yeah, pretty soon, like another 2 weeks, start to see the first few,
yep.
maybe 3 weeks. Where are we? Yeah, the first week of
Babies?
March. Yeah.
You guys aren't ready for it. Like, put on your sunglasses and let's go.
Yeah.
Bring your bucket hats.
Bring-
Oh, dude, bucket
I'm
boys.
not getting a bucket hat. I have too much hair for that.
Caitlin, come
mean,
on. You think
I'm
I don't have too
surprised-
much hair? Look
I'm
at it. It's coming out of my
surprised that
hood right now.
I know. I'm surprised you pull it off.
I do. Thank you.
Anyways, I saw some whales. Shocker.
You in Maui? I don't think
Maui,
so.
there's whales there. Trying to think. I have not worked a lot this week because my boat had to get a new engine. But I worked yesterday, and we had some friendly whales off and on throughout the day. We had a competition group in the middle of the day. And unfortunately, the nuclear animal was a mom and calf. I always feel bad when it's mom and calf because I'm like, you're just chasing this poor girl around and she doesn't even want to mate with you. Like, leave her alone. So they circled the boat a couple times and got really close to us, and the primary escort was making these huge bubble streams around the boat, and so it was really interesting and cool to see up close. And then later in the day we had a group of 4 adults. I don't really know what they were doing. They weren't acting like a competition group, but they were like really friendly with our other boat, Ocean Odyssey. And so like they called us and were like, can you come help us, like come distract these whales so we can leave because we're already late to the dock. And so we tried to go over there and get the whales to come to us, and they wouldn't leave Ocean Odyssey alone. And so they were stuck there for like, they came in, I think 35 minutes late from their trip because the whales wouldn't leave them. And so we went out again on another trip, and we went back to that same area, and they found us, and then they were friendly with us.
Wow.
And then they kind of moved off, and we were like, okay, well then we'll go and look at some other whales. And we drove like 3/4 of a mile west, and we looked at some other whales, and all of a sudden like a group of whales came towards us. And once they got closer, one of them like peck slapped like 3 times right next to the boat. And I got a good look at the dorsal fin and was like, this is the same whales from a mile away.
That's
Dang.
awesome.
They followed us.
I think whales do
That's-
follow boats sometimes.
Yeah. So, and we had just been sitting there watching an entirely different group of whales, and these whales swam almost a mile and came over to the boat and were friendly with the boat again for like 15 minutes. So that was wild and really
That's
cool.
So cool.
Are you whale watching today?
Yes, later today I am going whale watching. So
It's later today.
Slater today or later today?
later today.
Pretty sure it came out as Slater today.
I don't know.
So fast.
Later today.
Well, I think we should hop right into this. I found a really cool article about tracking marine mammals from space.
You?
Yeah.
Are you tracking them yourself?
Well, I've been tracking them for a couple years now, but
Oh, okay.
my satellite got taken down, so
Gotcha.
Turns out you got to have like permission for that, and
yeah, permits were tough for satellite whale watching. Like you thought drones were bad, dude.
Yeah,
try and get a
exactly.
satellite.
The rules that Noah has on satellites. Sheesh.
Can you imagine?
You have to be 100,000
1 million
miles away.
You have to be at
From
least
space.
10,000 miles away. Okay, so this article is from Frontiers in Marine Science. It was published in November of 2021. And it's called Cetacean Strandings from Space, Challenges and Opportunities of Very High Resolution Satellites for the Remote Monitoring of Cetacean Mass Stranding. So that's kind of our theme for the day. We're gonna be talking about satellites a lot. I am not a satellite nerd, but these articles all talk about the nitty-gritty details of what kind of satellites and like Earth observing satellite programs and all kinds of stuff, which I did not want to necessarily get into on the episode because I don't really know a lot about it. So if you're a satellite nerd, then feel free to read it.
Asha DeVos is on here.
In this article?
Yes.
Yeah, because the Indian Ocean is one of the places where they're looking to use this
Gotcha.
technology. So they're using what's called very high resolution satellite imagery, something about like 31 megapixels, or I don't know, something. It means something technical. I'm sorry, I don't know. And so basically they're using it as a tool to find stranding events at a faster pace and have a better timeline of events, so that either they can mount a response for necropsy or even sometimes mount a response to help live animals in distress during a mass stranding event.
Wow.
And a lot of the time, unfortunately, in really remote areas, stranded animals are discovered very late in the event. And so like getting a meaningful necropsy doesn't happen. So you can't determine the cause of death. And the severity of how many animals stranded during an event can also be very underestimated, because with ocean currents and pod size, like animals could wash up on shorelines for 30 plus miles. And if it's a very remote and difficult coastline to navigate, you may miss a lot of the animals that came to shore because you can't access the next cove, or you can't see what's happening on the beach 10 miles away and it's from the same event. So if you could take a satellite image of the area, you could get a better sense of where all the animals are.
Mm-hmm.
And then also with animals that are actively stranding, you may be able to get there in time to help refloat some of the animals and save them. So right now, the project, you can actually request archive photos from certain regions that the satellite is regularly observing. But unfortunately, if you want live images, you have to make the request like more than a week in advance. And so there's the study saying that there needs to be a continuous monitoring program established, because like, how are you going to know where an event's going to happen and when to be able to make
Yeah,
the
to get it
appropriate
live.
request? Yeah,
Yeah.
to get it live.
Doesn't make any sense.
So they're looking at using this in areas like Chile, parts of the Indian Ocean, and polar regions, because those are areas where there are lots of coastlines that are not accessed by people. And so, especially in Chile, like the mass stranding events that have happened forever, like that's what Nick Pienson studies.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Don't get me started.
And then even like in, I think it was 2015, when like over 200 sei whales washed up over the course of 3 months, and like no one knew about it until a helicopter happened to fly over it on accident.
Mm.
And Chile's home to 40% of all cetacean species in the world, but its coastline is really hard to access.
Chile
So,
is?
yeah, that's what it
Why
said
are we
in the
not going to
article.
Chile?
Adam, where have you been? We are going there.
40%.
Gotta go see Cerro Baena.
Yeah.
So a
What
place
is it?
like that would greatly benefit from monitoring by satellite, because it is a place
Wow.
where there are a lot of cetaceans. It's also a place where a lot of cetaceans strand, and it's really hard to access the coastline. So yeah, so maybe satellites can be a tool that researchers and response teams can use.
That's
I think
dope.
so.
Yeah.
What I swear there was a talk that it was either at ACS a million years ago or at ACS, like one of the smaller ones in Monterey. Where there, maybe there was just aerial surveys of like, maybe not walruses, some type of sea lion, where they were taking pictures from above to like see how big the population was every year.
Yeah, they do that with penguins, and they do that with pinnipeds. And they take like a series of images, and then they have people count it. It's pretty cool. I think for penguins, it's a community science project, so anyone can go online and review the aerial photos, and you have to like put a dot on every penguin you see, and that makes it easier to count. And then you can literally help researchers count penguins in Antarctica. So
And they're like, no, you're wrong. There's 6,844.
not 45. That's a rock, not a penguin. You can see like penguin guano in their colonies from space.
Dang.
Like, isn't that crazy?
Science.
It's also kind of gross that they make that much of a dirty mark on the ice that you
They're
can see
just
it from space.
dirty little creatures.
Birds are in general. Not all birds, but like, think about cormorants, dude. They're like,
Yeah, seabirds are gnarly.
Pelicans, dude. Ugh.
well, even that owl I saw yesterday, like it was in this cool looking cave thing, and like inside the cave, it's like you could see that everywhere it sat, because there's like just poop dripping down everywhere.
Pellets everywhere.
Guano everywhere.
All right, so this one is closer to home for you, Slater.
Oh yeah.
What went on me?
So this is from the Monterey Bay Aquarium
I've been there
in
before.
September of 2021. And it's a story that they have on their website. You can check it out. It says, we've teamed up with NASA to track sea otters in the wild.
Ooh.
So some of you may be familiar with the programs for sea otter recovery and monitoring that the aquarium's already involved with, but if not, I'll talk about it a little bit throughout the article. But the Monterey Bay Aquarium Sea Otter Program is designing new electronic flipper tags for otters so that they can be tracked in the wild by satellite. And the flipper tags are put on the rear flippers of the otter. Right now, they're just plastic tags that are color coded, and they put them between certain digits as a pattern. So like an otter that has like a green colored tag that has one between its first digit on its left flipper and its second and third digit on its right flipper, that's an ID number, basically. That's a code. So you know which otter you're looking at. So they're going to do the same thing, but have this flipper tag now have a device in it that can be pinged to a satellite. So this project is a collaborative effort between the Monterey Bay Aquarium, USGS's Western Ecological Research Center, and NASA's Space Shop at Ames Research Center in Mountain View, California. USGS is actually the governing agency, so US Geological Survey for sea otters.
Really?
It's not Fish and Wildlife. It's not NOAA. It's USGS, and they're also in charge of polar bears.
Weird.
Yeah, it is weird.
It's like super random.
So the project was initiated by USGS National Innovation Center as a way to harness NASA's expertise in creating lightweight instrument packages, as well as an interest in building a fleet of small, low-cost Earth observation satellites. By working along with the aquarium to perfect a tracking tag for sea otters, this project could usher in a new era of wildlife tracking, said Jonathan Stock. And he is the director of the Innovation Center at Moffett Field, where the space shop is located in Mountain View. So they have been building these tags, and they're currently testing them on the sea otters that live at the Monterey Bay Aquarium full-time, the rescued animals that live captive there. And they're trying to design them so that they act and feel very similar to the current color flipper tags that the sea otters wear now. That way it's not too much of a disturbance on them. Those tags have been successfully used on dozens of sea otters. And so they're hoping to mimic that same thing. And the goal of this program is to help boost SORAC, the Sea Otter Research and Conservation Group's observations with coverage in hard to reach places. So right now, SORAC, they go out and they monitor otters with those color flipper tags using spotting scopes from different places on land. Like if you've been whale watching in Monterey, you've probably seen them on the end of the commercial wharf with like a spotting scope, and they're looking at the otters in the harbor.
Yeah, I see them a lot.
Yeah. And they will like trek back in Elkhorn Slough and stuff and look for them, but they get into some places where you can't just walk up and look at them. So the satellite would help keep track of them a little better. And so NASA's been trying to find tag materials that are resistant to saltwater, lightweight, bite resistant, and flexible that they can 3D print. So that's a pretty tough ask.
Yeah.
Have you seen a sea otter's teeth? Like they can crack open a shell. So they're hoping that the tags will be deployed on wild otters in the near future. And this was in September of 2021. I haven't seen an update yet from the aquarium to see if they're deploying them on otters in the wild. But if we hear anything, we'll let you know. And they also end their little story on the aquarium's website, or maybe it's a different story I read, just kind of following up on our climate episodes, talking about how sea otters really can be considered a blue carbon investment in our ecosystem because they have such an important role in seagrass and kelp forest habitats. So protecting and understanding sea otters is a good way to invest in your ecosystem because they are ecosystem engineers.
Those little furry, little demon-like little things.
I just wonder why the USGS has it, like them and polar bears. I wonder if there's a reason, like just because of climate or something, or like I don't know.
I don't know if it's because they were in such remote areas and USGS was the only one working there or what. I don't know how that relationship started, but yeah, it is a little funny.
Or someone at NOAA was like, you know what, I got bit by one of those little turkeys. Like,
Mount.
I got this.
You take care of them.
Yeah.
That's funny.
So, all right, this next article.
Hello, welcome to episode 104.
Is called Space Whale, Space Tech and AI Meet to Monitor Whales from the Heavens. This is in Marine Technology News in August of 2021. And
dang, that rooster's going off behind you.
I know.
Sorry.
It makes me want to go eat at that that place by the airport, all the trucks.
Oh.
Yeah.
I'm like so hungry. Every time I hear that rooster, I'm like getting more hungry because it just reminds me of those ones.
I'm sorry. He's upset. He's emotional. It's very loud.
And I'm not saying I'm hungry because I want to eat the rooster. I'm saying I'm hungry because
dude.
The rooster.
No, because it reminds you.
Trucks are.
Yeah. No, he has some things to say this morning. Sometimes he crows in the middle of the night, and I'm like, "What's wrong with you? Go to bed."
I would love that. I think
like at midnight.
What? No, you would not. You
like,
love it for the
go
first
away.
night.
No, I could sleep through anything.
He's like right out the window. Oh my god, he's so loud. Anyways, enjoy my background noise. So this is modern space technology and artificial intelligence have combined to enhance the conservation of marine animals, and it's under a new service called Space Whale. It was developed by a team of creative scientists in Germany and the UK, and their goal is to detect live whales from space. It's funded by the European Space Agency Solutions Program. And so far, this system has been tested in the Mediterranean, Baltic Seas, and then the Pacific and Southern Oceans. And it has successfully identified and counted fin whales, humpback whales, and southern right whales. So it's been able to like figure out what species of whale it's looking at and count it accurately.
Sometimes
crazy,
naturalists
though.
can't even do that.
I was gonna say it's kind of crazy because like a fin whale and like, or like a I don't know, Brutus whale or minke whale, like they could be pretty similar from above, I feel like, unless you're getting that jawline,
Yeah, I think because those three species are pretty distinct from the air, those are ones that are
based
good
on
to
like,
It's like
you know what I
blue
mean?
whales,
Like,
they probably do too. But
yeah,
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because like looking at this photo, right, with the red square around it, it's like, yeah, you could tell it's a fin whale, but
yeah.
I could see how it could be messed up too.
Yeah. And there's not a lot of details in the article about like false positives or anything like that.
Space whale.
I think this is the project that we participated in last year in Maui, because the humpback whales the account came from Maui. And I remember getting messages from research saying, hey, there's going to be a satellite tasked over Maui this week to count whales. If you could please be really diligent about whale and dolphin tracker in real time. That's going to help us ground truth the satellite.
Cool.
So, yeah.
Nice.
And if you want to find out more about the program, they do have a website. It's spacewhales.de. It's a German website. So they have a little website that's cool. You can kind of see some of the images and things like that. Now, our last one. It's the one you've been waiting for, Slater. Mapping Arctic cetaceans from space, a study for beluga and narwhal. So this is from PLOS ONE in August of 2021, and this project tracked and monitored Cumberland Sound belugas and Baffin Bay narwhals. And their preliminary findings were that the satellite provided enough information to gather accurate and meaningful survey data. And with the help of AI automation, they think that counting and identifying these two species of cetaceans is feasible. So even though narwhals are like fairly light colored looking from space, their gray patterning is enough to be able to tell them apart. And the satellite tracking provides more opportunities for observation as opposed to aerial surveys, because especially in the Arctic, a lot of flights get canceled due to wind and cloud cover. But if you had the satellite tasked there all day, the wind doesn't matter, and then the cloud cover may clear and they can still get data from that day. And so they're promoting this technology because for especially their area, they think it's going to be safer, faster, have less disturbance on the animals. And with the help of AI, it could become the future of wildlife monitoring for certain species like belugas and narwhals. So pretty cool.
AI for good.
AI for good.
I got a
AI
message.
for whales.
I got a message the other day from a journalist that was like, oh my God, I love all of your narwhal pictures. Can I do an interview with you? And I was like,
Narwhal pictures.
I'm like, honey, I've never seen a narwhal in my entire life.
Is that what you said, honey? Honey, I've never
Yeah, I was
seen
like, honey.
Wow, you're that patronizing in the DMs.
Sorry. Oh, here we go again. Here we go.
On
Women's History Month.
Women's Month, dude. Are you fucking kidding me, Adam?
Anytime, you shouldn't talk to anyone that way. Anytime.
Especially
But what
on
pictures did they think were narwhals? The
I'm
gray
assuming
whales?
orcas. I don't know.
Oh, maybe.
No, probably the Rizzo.
Maybe.
Have you seen Rizzo?
Me never.
Has he posted one lately?
No.
I was trying to think what you've posted lately that would be confused for a narwhal.
Nothing.
How long have we known like there's been killer, well, I guess we've only known about different killer whale ecotypes since like Michael Biggs?
Yeah, so like
how many years?
80s.
So like more than 15.
Yeah.
Like, sometimes these people come up with science on my Facebook and I was like, they're like, wow, like on my killer whale eating shark, they're like, we only learned this 15 years ago. I'm like, when? Like, where did you get this information at? I'm like, Dude, I was like, I almost filmed
Show me
this
your
15 years ago
sources.
already. Like, think about it. I filmed that 5 years ago already, 6 years ago almost. It's like,
Mhm.
okay, like, I don't know. It's just funny where people come up with these sources.
People are just wild, all of them.
Yeah, well, people are just wild on Slater's Facebook
Can we
page,
do
especially.
an episode where we just like go
We
through
should
my
just, we
comments
should just
and
drink
then-
beers and go through
and
comments.
answer
We
like,
should.
just
Let's do
An
that. That
after
sounds
hours
fun.
podcast.
like where we just answer like on just these two videos alone, the killer whale eating the shark and then the petting
friendly
the
gray
gray
whale,
Yeah,
yeah.
like answering all these people would be so, I think, much fun. Like just some of the science they've come up with is just like, I don't know.
Some
And
of the
then-
signs.
and then some of them, like, people respond back. Like, I think I told one of you guys yesterday, like, someone responded back and they were like, the photographer just said that those are pleats. And the lady goes, I don't care what the photographer said. I've seen gray whales before. Those are huge, score marks. And I'm like, oh my God, dude. Like,
Well, I think you responded to one and they were like, yeah, okay.
yeah. Oh, it's like, sorry. So yeah, we have to do that. I think it would be not in a mean way. Like, I think it'd be fun to answer all these questions. Like,
Yeah.
because clearly a lot of people think this way, or like think they,
Yeah.
not think that they know, because I'm sure most people know more than I do, but
Some of
I
them
know.
say it with
Clearly
such
not.
conviction. I'm
Yeah,
like,
That
they
it
say
sounds
it.
convincing.
well, like literally some people are like, Slater, you're an idiot. Like, trust me, that's not a killer whale. I'm like, okay, what is it? They're like, it's a beluga. It's like, what, dude? It's literally a killer whale. Like,
it's black. Belugas are white.
or like, Fat Fin's tail is bending downwards because he's a male. And they're like, his tail's deformed. He's gonna die. It's like, no, he's not. He's
They all
25
look like that.
25 years old, dude. He's chilling.
Oh,
Actually, I think he's
God.
like 27, but
So
Yeah.
funny. People are just wild.
Well,
Well-
I think it's cool that we can track marine mammals from space, and for hard to reach areas, that could be a really cool.
This is
tool.
reminding me of that Star Trek whale show.
Yeah.
Google
Space whales.
Google
Space
needs
whales.
to update their like, how they only have it like so many miles off the coastline, probably like 15 miles, I bet, or something. But they need to like allow it to all be seen, like just blur out all the boats or whatever you got to do. But
I mean,
Like
could you imagine how many illegal fishermen you could catch if you could see all the boats in the open ocean fishing in areas they're not supposed to?
I mean,
They have to have the satellites to be able to do that.
I don't know what they got. They got, who knows, radar that could probably go like 10 million miles. But like, I think that's cool. But I'm just saying, like, to show whales, like, you can't go to Maui right now and look at the Google Maps and find humpbacks.
Yeah.
Like, you could go and you can look at walruses and seals and sea lions. There's bison in San Francisco. Like, I did not know about, which I don't even know if I'm supposed to tell you guys. 'cause-
No, I knew there was bison in
I'm
San
just kidding.
Francisco.
I had no idea they were there though. Like,
Are they at,
I guess you
Uh,
can see that, like, a herd of them on the Google Maps.
yeah, are they
They're in some
Like
like a
Golden
regular
Gate Park or something?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
There's-
I
They're
think
somewhere
so.
like super well known. I was just joking.
Or the zebras in Cambria.
Oh my God. I can't even tell you guys, the first time I was driving back from Monterey and I had zebras on the side of the road, I was so freaking confused. I had no idea about Hearst Castle. And I was just like, I'm just shooting photos of zebras. And I'm like, what the hell is going on here? I'm pretty sure a giraffe-
Okay,
a
wild
giraffe is
zebras.
going- Dude, they're literally down on the road, Adam. Have you seen them?
Yeah, I have.
Okay, they're like down on the road. Like, you're like, okay, what? Like, borderline an elephant seal is gonna ride one. Like, they're right there.
They're gonna be friends.
Literally.
Pretty
So
cool.
yeah, sometimes technology can be used for good.
Sometimes.
That's my conclusion.
Okay.
So- What should be our secret whale of the week?
Good morning podcast.
Space whale?
Freaking should be Fat Fin, the killer whale with a deformed fin who's gonna die.
That's way too long to write.
No, because if he actually dies soon, because
Yeah,
whatever's
he's
going
looking a
on.
little thin.
No, dude,
I think
that's
he's fine.
the
I
problem.
think he's
fine.
fine, but
That's the problem with photos is people get one photo and, like, no offense, Danny, but your photo is like not high megapixels, so it's
oh, Danny.
It will be
It will be
soon, it will
soon.
be
It will be
soon.
like,
soon.
no, it will
Yep.
be today. We've been talking all week. It comes today.
Oh, it comes today.
Yeah, on the
Oh,
font.
watch out.
He was
Dude,
like,
you
oh,
guys should go out and photograph.
in the yucky weather.
I'm gonna go teach them how to shoot photos of raindrops.
Yeah, exactly.
No, but I'm just saying, like, sometimes people do get a photo like from weird angle with glare on it, and then like the settings aren't proper. I'm not saying he's a bad photographer. He's really good, actually. Like, has better photos than a lot of us, which is insane. But he, like, I'm just saying, like, it could look skinny, and then one person will comment like peanut head, and then everybody's like, oh, this whale's dying. Like, they're all dead. Every whale's peanut head now. Like, I feel like any drone photo I've ever taken of a killer whale, I've gotten a message from someone up north that's like, because
your whale looks like it's sick.
Yeah, it's like that does happen with the residents, right? Like, that's a more common thing, and so that's like what they've learned, and so they think that all of our whales are dying too, but it's like, no, Baffin's chill. Now, Lonesome George, on the other hand, I don't know.
Where's that guy?
I don't know.
He's hiding in Big Sur.
I hope, dude. If I don't see him again, I'll be bummed, and it'll probably force me to actually go through my hard drives to find every photo I've got of him, because that's pretty cool. Pretty sad.
He's a cool whale.
But he's cool.
He's a big whale. So anyways, I think space whale should be the secret whale of the week.
Let's do it.
Okay. And if you made it this far in the episode, thank you. You know,
you're also crazy.
Our typical end of episode rant. And thank you to everyone for supporting us on Patreon. I forgot to say that at the beginning of the episode, but we still love you so much. And I've seen new supporters and people upgrading their levels of support. So thank you very much for that. And thanks for listening to the podcast and supporting us by telling other people about it, or coming on trips, or checking out our website. That's all helpful for us to spread the word. And we really appreciate you all. And we'll see you next time.
See you on the flip side.
See you on the flippity flop.
Thank you. Bye.
Thanks, guys.